Welcome to the Wattsburg Area School District. We are student-centered and future-focused for a world-class education. I will now call to order the Wattsburg Area School District Board of Directors work session for Monday, August 11th. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Blazer.
Present.
Mr. Brummagem.
Present.
Mrs. Burlingham.
Here.
Mrs. Hetherington.
Here.
Mrs. Lee. Mr. Morvay.
Here.
Dr. Pushchak.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Present. School reports. Dr. Berlin, will we have a school report for the regular meeting?
The principals will be here, and they will introduce several new staff members. And I want to emphasize the word several. A lot of what we put in place with adjusting compensation and things, we've seen just an immediate response in the quality of candidates and also the retention that we haven't seen over the past few summers. So good work from the board there. So that will be the school reports next week.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Berlin. It's now time for guest and citizen comments. Do we have anyone signed up to speak this evening?
We do not.
Thank you. For superintendent's report, Dr. Berlin, will we have one for next week?
Yes.
All right.
I'll share with the board next week the replacement for our platform solution, rather, to share our emergency operations plans with first responders. We're using Microsoft 365, an app in there, and I'll give the board just a broad overview. I don't want to get into the details of the plan. But it looks like it's going to be very transparent for first responders to see our plan, access that when they need to. And then just for tonight, if you've been following the budget woes of Pennsylvania, we're 6 weeks out of having a complete passed budget, and it doesn't appear that there's reconciliation is anywhere near. They're off into a rabbit hole right now, arguing about transit funding. I guess that is a rather large item, as you can imagine, in Philadelphia area, and a pressure point there is transportation of school children. So that's the current front and center argument, but in the overall picture is Pennsylvania's budget has a pretty severe structural deficit, so that has yet to be contended with. So that's just a little bit about the budget. And then if you didn't hear, I want to congratulate Dr. Williams on successfully defending his dissertation. So great job, Dr. Williams. And then finally, Meet the Bobcats is all set to go for Friday, August 22nd, and that'll start officially at 5. Food trucks will be here around 3. And the boosters have really helped contribute and trying to beef that event up. It looks like it should be a nice evening before the game, and all of the fall athletics, they're going to get recognized. You get to meet the Bobcats. And they're also including the younger students from the youth cheer and the Little Gritters football. I'm trying to get those students interested and give them a little bit of exposure. That's all I have for this evening.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Berlin. It's now time for the Business Administrator's Report. Will you be pinching this evening, Mr. Englert?
I will not. I'll save that for Vicki Bendig next week.
So the usual Fund balances from the business administrator are given at the top. You can see where the general fund is and the July. Of course, we didn't have a July meeting, but we did have some necessary bills to pay there, and those will show up later. Capital projects, a total of $17.22. That actually is where we want that. It helps keep track of project status, and we know that what we've allocated has been spent appropriately, and the projects are complete. The cafeteria balances, as it kind of mirror what the June report shows, and there's no activity in July. And then the student activities balance, you can see June and July there as well. So this kind of goes back to the budget battle in Harrisburg that I mentioned a minute ago. We're in good shape right now to make payroll without the basic ed subsidy, and we actually should be okay for the first few months of school because this is the time of the year when the property taxes are collected. It's that second half of the year where we rely on the basic ed funding to make payroll in particular. So we'll keep a close eye on that. We have had to go down the road of a tax anticipatory note before. We've actually made the arrangements. We got very close during one of Governor Wolf's first budgets. There was an extended standoff there, and we didn't actually have to borrow the money, but we could have if we needed to. But they settled that at the 11th hour. And then bills are listed there. We don't have the totals yet, as usual, but in between now and next week, just if you have a question about a particular bill, don't hesitate to contact me or Vicki, and we'll address that for you.
All right, thank you. And is Vicki anticipated to be back for next week then?
She will join us. She'll be back. She's on vacation this week.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, now under legal advisement for this evening, I have one to be added for next week. This is for the approval of the 2025 and 2026 District Emergency Operations or All Hazards Plan. Are there any questions from anyone on this one?
Mr. President, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if this is the proper location for it, but I wondered, is there any sort of plan for any sort of cybersecurity attacks? Is that in this, or is that somewhere else? And then the other side of that coin is, do we carry any sort of cyber insurance that would protect us in the case of a cyber attack?
So this plan is not where technology security is addressed. We have a separate technology operating guidelines manual that was board approved, and Matt has maintained and updated that. It is a constant battle. He's very vigilant. Attends workshops frequently to keep us ahead of the bar, but it just is a never-ending, escalating battle to keep your data secure. With regards to insurance, we do have a certain amount of insurance through CM Regent, who's our general insurance carrier. And I know that Mrs. Bendig has looked at that before and felt that our current coverage is adequate, especially given our off-site backups. But I know we look at that every year because that's just part of the renewing of that insurance coverage. And so that's something that's evaluated annually.
No, I appreciate that. Just as reading through that, it obviously talks about very much physical facilities and very much physical. It just spurred that thought, when we're talking about any sort of other outside danger. That's what reminded me. And I'm sorry, I didn't remember that we had that other cybersecurity
it's a
action
signif-
plan, I guess?
Yeah, it's a significant.
absolutely. Yeah.
Challenge, and every day
Well,
there's.
if Erie Insurance can get it, so can we.
Yeah.
So I just was thinking of along those lines.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for the update, and I appreciate the diligence of the staff and the administration to do that. Thank you.
Any other questions on that one? Hearing none, that will move over to the agenda for next week. We now turn to Dr. Andy Pushchak for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. After a large list in June, I'm glad to see one item under finance, and that's our annual reauthorization for the district to utilize all procurement programs, including materials and services under PA Department of General Services for the upcoming school year. So I'd like to add that to next week's agenda for the board's consideration.
All right, are there any questions on that one? Hearing none, that will move over to the agenda for next week. Thank you very much, Dr. Pushchak.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. We'll now turn to Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Jeremy Blazer.
I have nothing at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blazer. And now for Personnel, we will also turn to Mr. Blazer filling in for Mrs. Lee this evening.
Unlike Dr. Pushchak, there's a long list for Mrs. Lee next week. We'll start with A, which is our list of resignations listed below. B is the appointments listed below. Most have names filled in. I assume we're hoping to have the last blanks filled in for next week. C is leave requests as listed below. D is tuition reimbursements as listed in the attachment. E is conference requests as listed below. F is the school nursing services with Bayada Home Health Care as listed in the attachment. And G is our ESS substitute list additions. H is our service substitute list. And I'll be glad to see Mrs. Lee next week.
Thank you, Mr. Blazer. Are there any questions on, how many of these are there?
Yeah, H.
These 7 items? On the long-term substitute side here, we're in process or beginning of process on most or all of these?
We're in process on those, and one of those was created by an internal bid. So
Okay.
that's, when one person bids like that, then we
Yep.
end up with another. So those are in process. We're hoping to have names for Monday before the first day of school for sure. So we may ask the board if they would consider retroactively approving a recommended candidate in September.
Excellent. All right, thank you for the clarification. Are there any others? Hearing none, those will move over to the agenda for next week. Thank you, Mr. Blazer.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We'll now turn to Mrs. Brittany Burlingham for policy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will only have one item underneath policy as of now for next week, which is to approve the second reading and review of the policies as outlined and attached below.
All right, are there any questions on those policies as listed? Hearing none, they will move over to the agenda for next week. Thank you, Mrs. Burlingham. We will now turn to Mr. Stephen Morbe for curriculum.
Mr. President, next week we will have 5 items on the current agenda under curriculum. The first one is item A, the school-wide Title I school plan. As per the attachment, the motion will be to approve that. Second item would be item B, which would be to approve the third-party contractor and inter-district agreements for Title I services per the attachments for the IU5 as well as with Fort LaBeouf School District. The third item is the UKARU training agreement, to approve that agreement between Grafton School and Wattsburg Area School District per the attachment. Item D, Community County Day School Educational Services Agreement between the Wattsburg Area School District and the Community County Day School per that attachment as well. And then the last one is the Gertrude Barber Center one-on-one aid service agreement per that attachment between the Wattsburg School District and the Barber Center. Those will be the 5 items that will be on the agenda, Mr. President, next week.
Thank you. Are there any questions on any of these 5 items?
Mr. President, I just had one question regarding the, under the B, the third-party contractor. I was trying to understand the connection between Fort LaBeouf School District, Title I services, Erie First Christian, and Wattsburg Area School District. I'm trying to understand that circle, how that all goes down.
Yeah, so when we have students that qualify for Title I services that go to private schools, They contract with the IU or Erie City or Fort LaBeouf School District to provide those services. And so based upon our allotment from the Title I funds, we get a per pupil amount.
Okay.
And so then if we've got, say, 2 students who qualify for title services that are attending a school whose services are provided by the Fort LaBeouf School District, we sign an agreement between us and Fort LaBeouf saying that we agree to pay that per pupil allotment to Fort LaBeouf for the services that they provide.
But they're a Wattsburg School District student.
Right,
That
they
gets
reside in our
services from Fort
district. Right, they reside in our district, attend a private school,
Hence the Erie First Christian.
it doesn't,
Okay, fair enough, yeah. That's where okay, I'm trying to understand, yeah. I was just trying to
Yeah.
understand how that flow chart worked.
correct. And so like, for example, the IU provides services for several of the Catholic diocese schools.
Sure.
And so if they attend those schools, then that allotment
Fair enough. Okay,
goes to the IU.
thank you.
Excellent.
you, Mr.
Mr.
Engler.
Engler,
Thank
for
you,
the
Mr. President.
clarification. Any others? Hearing none, those 5 items will move over to the agenda for next week. Thank you, Mr. Morvay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We will now recognize Mr. Jesse Williams for technology.
Mr. President, we only have one thing on the agenda for next week, and that is to approve the equipment lease schedule between Leaf Capital and Wattsburg for a 3-year lease of 630 laptops as attached.
Are there any questions on that item?
Is that something we do? That's something we do every year, right? Like, it's somebody else's turn this year.
Thirds?
It's not quite perfect thirds, but yeah.
It's close.
They were divided up into three groups. So every year we're replacing, not quite.
Is it like
a
one of the schools, like elementary school, middle school, high school?
It's more grade level right now. There's some, and that had to do, it started out to be more school-based, but then some of the COVID monies that we received, we used to buy computers at certain levels that it was eligible for. So right now, that's what has the lease cycle not being perfectly divided. Although, I mean, financially, it's fairly even.
Any other questions on that one? Hearing none, that will move over for our agenda for next week. Thank you, Mr. Williams. The chair will now recognize Mr. Greg Brummagen for transportation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next week, I'll have 3 items for the board's consideration. Transportation A, the transportation requests as attached. B, the bus routes that are not quite attached yet, so those are forthcoming, I assume. And bus drivers, to approve the Durham bus drivers as attached.
Are there any questions on either of these 3?
I would just want to ask about the bus drivers. It listed a nice long list, but does that mean we have met our bus driver need? I know that's been an issue last year. Do we have excess bus drivers? Didn't we increase, or we were attempting to increase? Did that help?
Yeah, so the board raised in the spring the hourly rate, and it didn't help us immediately there because of the training runway, but Durham did do a couple job fairs end of May, beginning of June, and trained, I believe, 14 drivers they put through. So that should give us a total of about 34 drivers, and we need 25 to run our regular routes, so that does leave us with standby drivers. Now, some of those standby drivers might not be available 5 days a week, but we have a lot more capacity at the moment, assuming everyone stays on board with us starting the school year. We should be able to run our regular routes, get the times down for the students, and have some capacity, some redundancy for when we have call-offs. But it's been a challenge, and I will say Durham's been very helpful in with the bonuses and using their recruitment department. They've brought in a lot of names, and I know that the bus garage interviewed a lot of people. It's quite a commitment, and they brought extra trainers in here so we could actually get those folks certified, because it takes almost 8 weeks. So you have a pretty tight window to hit the first day of school. So at the moment, feeling a lot better about transportation than at the end of last year. And I mean, for me, the ride time, the kids suffer because when we have to combine runs, they're on the bus for 50 minutes or more. And the lower we can get that, of course, the better for everyone. They have more time to do what they like to do after school, which I'm sure is very important to them. Homework, yes, absolutely, homework.
Always homework. It's the first thing they want to do when they walk in the door. Are there any other questions on those 3 items? Hearing none, they will move over to the agenda for next week. Thank you, Mr. Brummagen. The chair will now recognize Ms. Leah Hetherington for athletic and extracurricular.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will have 3 items on the agenda for next week. First one, A, athletic resignations, as listed on the agenda. B, athletic appointments, as listed on the agenda. And C, extracurricular appointments, with a nice healthy list on the agenda. That is all I will have.
Thank you, Ms. Hetherington. Are there any questions on these 3 items?
Is there an 8th grade basketball coach?
Pardon, a little louder.
Is there an 8th grade basketball coach?
I don't know the answer to that.
He's resigning. Was he the head of the 8th grade, or was he an assistant?
I think he has to hire for himself, right, though? Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because their season started already.
It's a fall sport.
I will check on that. We may have a coach, but we're waiting for the posting to clear so that it can be awarded. So I'll check on that.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none, those will move over to the agenda for next week. Under miscellaneous this evening, we have a couple of items. First is to address surplus items, to declare the attached items as surplus. You'll see weight room surplus list and a football equipment surplus list, and also a resolution regarding special education records retention and destruction. This is going to be a motion to approve the resolution regarding the retention and destruction of special education, gifted education, and Chapter 15 and Section 504 records as attached. Are there any questions on these 2 items? Hearing none, those will move over to the agenda for next week. Mr. Morvay, will we have an Erie County Technical School Joint Operating Committee report for next week?
President, we will actually have an August report for the board. Our board meeting is actually this Thursday. So next meeting, we will have a current Joint Operating Committee report.
It'll be hot off the press.
Yes, that is true.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Morvay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Dr. Pushchak, will we have a Northwest Tri-County Intermediate Unit report for next week?
Yes, we will, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Pushchak. It's now time for board correspondence and dialogue. Does anyone have anything for the good of the order this evening?
Mr. President, so one of the things excuse me, because I know that we're supposed to stay at 20,000 feet, so I'm just going to dip down to 18,000 feet real quick and then pull back up.
Try to keep it at 18.5.
I will try to keep it high. But I think one of the things that we recently did is I think that with the passing of the contract, I think that was a really good first start. I think that what we really needed is to kind of get the teacher salaries up. I mean, we all kind of recognized around the board here that they were pretty low. But I think, Brummagen says it the best when he says it's not always about the money, right? So that's one side of the thing. The second thing is that we just got done approving Dr. Berlin's final evaluation, and we kind of talked a little bit about goals, and one of the goals that we kind of spoke out about was like social media. So I was wondering whether or not we could be helpful as a board by kind of marrying the two. And one of the thoughts that I have is that I think as board members all enjoy when we get students here and we celebrate things that they have done and their accomplishments. And I was wondering whether or not we could potentially look at doing the same for teachers, as in just a simple recognition of teachers, maybe as simple as a Google Drive where another teacher could nominate someone, say a couple nice words about them, and then ask them to the board meeting. That way, we can come down here, we can do a little social media, real quick, real instant kind of video, and then post that for us. So then you're kind of marrying two different entities that we've kind of done in the last year. And that's one, get that contract, but now start to build that teacher pride and why they're here. And then the other one being a more of a social media goal, right? So could we possibly look at administration-wise at that to see whether or not we could get some teachers to come in here and yet use their own words, right? So if I'm nominating, Jeremy here, that I could write 5, 6 different things about him, ask them to come and say, hey, we just want to we see you and we appreciate you, and we just want to let you know that we as a board are here for you. So again, just dipping down a little bit into that 18,000, and maybe we could, I would give it all then to administration to figure out how that runs and what you want to look at. But I think that I would enjoy a little bit more of, I clearly enjoy the students being here. I think that's probably the highlight of when we have board meetings. But yet, if we can look at teachers too to start to recognize them a little bit, I think it would go a long way. And that's all I got.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any others?
I briefly, I know, that our community recently went through a loss of a kiddo in our district, and I did attend the vigil, I never say that word correctly, but I just feel like I wanted to briefly say, obviously our community came together for the family, and we really appreciate that, and I'm just encouraging our staff to prepare for what's to come with our kiddos as they enter the school year. I mean, I know as a mom that was hard to have that discussion with my kids, and this is our community, and that was, everyone is obviously very, very much feeling for Hayden and his family right now. So I just want to just kind of bring that out and just kind of prepare for what's to come, because I feel like mental health wise, like this is probably going to be a little bit of a challenging year. I know we have had loss before, but it's been some time, and again, it was just kind of one of those moments that no one ever wants to have to experience. So I just kind of wanted to briefly bring that up, and I appreciate the community and everyone who came together to just support that family in the best way they know how, and it was very beautiful. So that's really all I had to say.
Absolutely, and thank you for bringing up and recognizing the absolutely tremendous loss that I still can't even fathom. That's a very elite group that no one wants to be in, to lose a child, and grew up with the parents and spent some time with them through the process. And I know that I spoke with Dr. Berlin immediately following, and the district immediately assembled a team of individuals ready to handle any situation that comes to our students as a result. And I know that they're doing a good job keeping abreast any of those issues. And of course, as the school year starts, we're going to be tackling those as they come. And I appreciate the administration acting swiftly to get that team assembled and be ready to serve our student body. Are there any others? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Pushcheck.
Second, Blazer.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.